Hi, I'm Shelley Wood. You might know me from shelleywood.com. This is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a basic shirt with bias tape sleeves for 12-inch, which is 30-centimeter tall dolls like Tammy and Cindy. But before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download this free printable PDF sewing pattern. Use the pattern to cut out these 3 pieces. You will need a 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter bias tape as well. Now, if you need help with bias tape, I have a whole tutorial on that. Just look at the links below this video on YouTube. The pattern calls for darts. Use the pattern to mark your darts with a fabric pen. Sew the darts in both backs, just like you see there, and the front as shown on the pattern. Lay one of the bodice backs on top of the bodice front, just like this, keeping right sides together. Now, right sides together means the pretty side of the fabric touches the pretty side of the fabric. Stitch across the shoulder area, just like you see there, and like I'm doing here on my tiny sewing machine. Follow the same directions for the other back. So you lay it on top of the front, keeping right sides together, and then sew across that shoulder area. Your finished seams should look like this. Open the bodice up, just like this, and press each shoulder seam open. Add bias tape to each arm area. I usually keep my bias tape attached to the garment until I've completely stitched it to the garment, then I cut it free. Now, here are the basic steps for sewing bias tape, just in case you're not familiar. What I like to do is put the garment in one hand and the bias tape in another hand, and I use pre-folded bias tape to make it real simple. You open up the fold in the bias tape and there will be double folds, but you just want to open it once. And then you lay it behind the fabric of the underarm. And then you fold both fabric and bias tape together. Now, I like to hide my knot from my thread inside the bias tape. And that keeps your doll's fingers from catching on the knot when you put the doll clothes on. So then you begin what's called the whip stitch, okay? And you'll see me doing that here. I'm whip stitching the bias tape to the garment. Again, if you need help with the whip stitch, you'll see a link in the description below this video on YouTube. So watch for that if you do need help with the whip stitch. Watch for that tutorial below this video on YouTube. Here it is again, just making sure you understand what to do. Follow these steps for both of the arm areas. And now you have a couple of options. The first option, I'm going to attach the bias tape to the neck only. And then I'm going to hem the rest of the way around. So I would only recommend doing that if you plan to hem the back closure and the bottom of the shirt. Okay, so if you want this step, then you need to do the side seams next. After you attach, like you see me doing here, attach the bias tape to the neck and then do the side seams. Now you can fast forward the video to watch me do side seams as well. And I'll also talk about closing off your bias tape at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Now that's option 1. But instead of hemming the back and hemming the bottom part, I intend to attach bias tape all the way around these edges. So that's your option 2. Instead of attaching bias tape only at the neck and arms, I will just fold one back against the front, and we're going to create a side seam, stitching from the underarm to the bottom of the shirt. So we still haven't attached the neck bias tape, we're just doing side seams. Do this on both sides of your shirt. And now your shirt will look like this. Again, we haven't attached the bias tape to the neck yet. Open the shirt up and press your side seams, like you see me doing here. Invert the shirt, so you want to flip it around so we're looking at the right side, just like you see me doing here. Okay, at this point, I'm going to begin attaching bias tape to the back closure area and the neck, as well as the bottom of the shirt. Now you might be wondering, when you get to the very end of the bias tape, how do you end your stitches and make it look clean? How do you close off that final edge of bias tape neatly? Here's a quick video to show you how I do it. So what I do is I cut just a little extra, not quite a centimeter of extra bias tape, and then I fold it inside itself like this. Now I put it behind the fabric and fold it again, just like I did when I was attaching bias tape all along. So when you finish your stitches here, you're going to complete all of that whip stitching, and then you're going to whip stitch the edge as well. Okay, we're almost done. At this point, you need to attach snaps or Velcro to the back closure area and try it on your doll. For more free printable sewing patterns to fit dolls of many shapes and all different sizes, please remember to visit my website, ShellyWood.com. Hi! I'm Shelly Wood, and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. You guys have inspired a lot of the doll clothes that I have designed, the free patterns that are available at ShellyWood.com. But my list of requests is becoming huge. So it's time for me to offer a course where I teach you the 3 easy methods that I use to design doll clothes patterns. If you're curious about my class, I recommend that you go to creativespark.ctpub.com, where you can sign up for their newsletter. That's the platform I'll be using for my paid courses. If you enjoy my free tutorials, wait till you see what I'm creating for Creative Spark. I look forward to creating amazing patterns with you.